The moment the scope of work and purchase orders for the new project at our firm hit my desk, I had the distinct feeling we would need a little more than our 530 combined years of project management experience to see us through this one. After spending an hour scanning the project documents, I quickly realized that its stringent project performance and reporting requirements were totally different than anything I had encountered in my 9 years with Nouveau & Canu. Jacks and Jills of all trades we were at this edgy, multidimensional firm. And we were, yes, we were proud of it. Apparently, the customer, Professor Zakari, and his sidekick, Salvador Doe, were accustomed to using highly detailed, demanding schedules to track the several projects he had worked on since Microsoft Project became a huge hit on the PM scene. It was also clear that he had very high expectations of our firm, having come through such a rigorous bidding process. After all, our marketing staff and executive muscle boys had made certain promises without the team's involvement, which we had to redeem. Even our first task was a bit daunting. Within 60 days, we had to draw up a humongous project schedule, detailing every single resource, right down to the hour. Our program manager, Billy Bragg, had always touted our many years of collective experience and how that alone would see us through any project. In Bill's mind, certifications in project management and PM software had little to no value.
What's all this PMP project management certification stuff that you've been talking about? You can't replace 30 years of managing projects with some so-called certificate.
Though his statement held some truth, I knew that the techniques, skills, and thought processes I had learned for my qualifying project management exam, coupled with my own experience, would see me through this project. At least I crossed my fingers and hoped I was right. Let me tell you the story of how this nightmare unfolded into a futuristic dream of sorts. It started with an email notification from senior management announcing the team's first meeting regarding that season's project list with the company's president, Cold Pincus. We nicknamed Pincus Cold because he was notorious for coming to work sick with a cold and spreading the virus to everyone who came his way. He was always sniffling without a handkerchief, rubbing his nose and sneezing all over the office. Needless to say, we always scrambled for the farthest chair away from him in the conference room. If we were fortunate, we'd miss the Cold Pincus handshake for the day. Rumor has it, soap was not considered essential during his bathroom visits either. Also attending the meeting were some of the suits from the 14th floor and several other Nouveau & Canu stakeholders. So this was my world, working on a brand new project as the project manager. The same world where projects have dramatically and consistently changed since 1969 when PMI was founded.
Welcome to the January 2071 PSM for Nouveau & Canu. Today we have some rather interesting potential projects. But as you know, not every project that makes it to the PSM gets out the door alive. So today's murder board includes Johnny Roberts, Billy Bragg, Martha Mona, Mary Johnson presiding over affairs. Now the thing about our PSMs is...
What's PMS?
You do mean PSM, don't you, Billy? Obviously you were not properly schooled when the orientation when you came aboard. It stands for Project Selection Meeting.
Billy, this is when we review the best of the projects and make a selection. Remember?
Yeah, I got it, thanks.
So, as I was saying before that unnecessary interruption, today we'll select which project to take on. Being the industrial juggernauts that we are, well, you know we can handle anything. However, we must first review some key information before moving a single step further. Now here's a list of our potential projects. Project 1, the Wyoming Bridge Project. Project 2, software refresh project for the city. Project 3, build a time machine for Professor Zakari, the well-renowned multi-billionaire whose project our vendors flunked a decade ago.
Oh, no, that was our fault, Mr. Pincus. Let's be honest here. That was years ago when I had just come on board. We had no schedule, no defined budget, and poor tracking mechanisms. And I was the only PMP.
Oh, I see. May I continue? Project 4, an inventory check for the Bijou Corporation and an implementation of a new JIT system. Now, this is not the time or place to decide who was right about what happened eons ago. The question at hand is, which project should we take on today? Again, let's go over our options. Project 1, bridge project. NPV is $350 million. Project 2, software refresh. IRR, 70%. Project 3, time machine. Payback period, 15 years. Project 4,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who's gonna wait 15 years to get paid?
let's read the final one, shall we? Now, if we may. Project 4, JIT. Its BCR is 4-1. Now, which project should we select?
Well, I think it's a no-brainer with the information that we have.
But the information we have is limited. Do we have the net present value for all the current projects?
Forget about the IRR and the payback period. NPV is all we need to make a decision.
Well, that's all I got from accounting. Martha?
Actually, the detail is on page 9 of the document. Please forward to page 9. Project 1, bridge project, NPV is $350 million. Project 2, software refresh project, NPV is $20 million. Project 3, time machine, NPV is $75 billion.
What?
Project 4, JIT project, NPV is 100,000.
Well, Mr. Pincus, I guess you can see it's a no-brainer which project you pick now. I mean, you don't have a valid reason not to go with Project 3. It's by far the most profitable.
Well, I'm not so certain about that. I mean, we need to be absolutely sure we can do the project.
Well, think about it. How great would it be if we could be the first company to actually invent a functioning time machine? Besides, we've got our own time machine research authority right here in-house.
Exactly. And what in life comes without some element of risk?
I was thinking of the software refresh project, but apparently no one else seems to be. What does everyone else think we should do?
Time machine!
Well, seem to be outnumbered. The team has spoken. Time machine it will be.
Yes.
I'll finalize this with the board, issue a new charter for the project. We'll reconvene in a few days.
Hello, Mr. Pincus. Hi, I was just calling to check on the status of the charter. Has it been done yet?
No, I've been busy.
Do you need any assistance, sir? I have developed charters in the past.
No, I'll be fine with it. Give me a couple days.
Okay, if you need my help, my calendar is wide open.
All right, I've heard you.
Mr. Pincus, where's the project charter? I can help you on this. Let me help you.
Really, Johnny, I said I'd do it.
Just trying to help.
I'll have it done soon, Johnny. Now calm down. Here, since you appear to be in need of work, read the business case and go down to the print shop and help me get them photocopied. Then send them out to all the potential team members.
Okay, Mr. Pincus.
Darn it, boy. I better get Mary to drive this to an end with him and me once and for all. Mary!
I'm on my way.
Mary!
I'm on my way.
Mary, I'd like you to assist me in putting together a project charter for Project TMX-01. I have a contract, business case, statement of work, and some assets from our organization's database. And we must factor in how environmental factors affect the issuance of the charter and the authorization of the project. We have government approval to embark on this challenging project. Excuse me.
Sure. So, is this charter more like a basic document that we're creating just for the sake of creating a document? Or are you going to allow the project manager to truly take control of the project, Mr. Pincus?
No, this is a serious matter. Documents should be referenced when identifying stakeholders, collecting requirements, defining scope, and developing the project management plan. I'm really a PMO convert now. I can see the value in a PMO.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
So, in other words, this project charter will be the charter that is followed for certain other project management processes?
Precisely. In fact, let me tell you a bit about what I learned at Project Management for C-Level Executive class from Praizion Media last week. The approved project charter formally authorizes a project or phase in a project. It is important to note that the project charter contains a lot of advanced information about the project, such as initial stakeholder requirements, high-level risks, a summary milestone schedule, a summary budget, measurable project objectives, and related success criteria. It also establishes a partnership between performing and requesting organizations. It identifies the project's success factors and identifies the key decision makers to decide on the project's success and completion, and who also signs off on the project. Now, you probably guessed that you're one of our choices for project managers since you have a star-studded list of projects under your belt already, Mary.
Wow, me?
Yeah, we're counting on someone as good as you to make this thing work. Now, let's whip this charter into shape as much as you can. Help me, and I'll finalize the rest.
Yes, sir, Mr. Pincus, sir. This is going to be so great.
May I have some silence, please? Now, both parties have decided to move ahead with Project TMX-01. Total project value is $75 billion. End date is 2079. Johnny Roberts is our project sponsor. Mary, you're our chosen project manager. The project has been authorized to start immediately. You will report to the new program manager, Billy Bragg.
What? Billy Bragg? You authorized Billy to be the program manager on this project?
Well, he has worked on similar sized projects in the past.
Give the new boy a chance. I've earned my stripes. Besides, the project charter issued by the sponsor authorizes the project, and it authorizes you to apply whatever resources you need.
Indeed, it contains a lot of high-level information about this endeavor. Now, there are your marching orders, Mary. Run with it. This is all you need to make this project successful. Authority and just enough high-level project information. I need you to get all the requirements, plans, and schedules in shape for this endeavor.
In the meeting, Pincus announced the issuance of the project charter and addressed any concerns about the project. I have been saddled with a monstrosity. How in the world am I going to get this project to work? Especially with meddlesome Billy as a program manager. Goodness. The project's start date and likely peak times are major concerns to Johnny, who supposedly has lots of experience in similar projects. But his suggestion to buy more time was shut down by the suits. I feel like I'm just a figurehead project manager. Heaven help me. I really have to make this happen now that I've been given the authority to apply all resources to this project. I will do my very best to make TMX.01 a success. In this next stage of the project, the fun begins. We must identify every single stakeholder. Zakari is the customer and Doe is his sidekick, but we have several other entities to notify. These include various entities, persons, groups, or organizations that may be affected by the project, positively or negatively, or have an interest in the project's long-term effects. This is a never-before-implemented technology. Who wouldn't want to be in the know about this? I dread the very thought of tons of stakeholders emerging out of the woodwork all through the project up till the 99th hour. Dan asked me, how do we proceed with this huge task? The truth is, I honestly don't know. I will be seeking expert judgment from a variety of sources, people who have worked on other R&D projects. I will start off by studying the charter and asking Pincus and some of our board members for pointers. This is not one of my strengths. I've been very concerned about involving everyone who needs to be involved in this project. I mean, with all the agencies such as defense and space, this project has grown 100 arms and legs in just a few months. The main customer is just one of my stakeholders. Now I'm being told that this is just the beginning. Wow, imagine that. Welcome to our first planning meeting. Yeah, our first step is to develop the project management plan. Now, in the case of these extremely high-tech, cutting-edge projects, it must be detailed. So as a team, we'll all work together incrementally, taking on the subsidiary plans one by one.
The sub what?
Subsidiary plans. You know, plans for risk management, schedule management, cost management, and project improvement.
That sounds great. When do we submit our task estimates?
Well, great question, Andrew. First, we collect all the requirements from the concerned stakeholders. To do this, I'd like some initial interviews and surveys to be conducted. Julia, you and Les will conduct these interviews. Any of the stakeholders marked on the stakeholder register should be interviewed. And after analyzing our interview data, then I will facilitate focus groups and hold facilitated workshops with some of the specific stakeholders.
And I guess I have the honor of meeting with the eggheads and geeks from the colleges?
Yes, you do. And once we have all that information, we build our first data model prototype, just to make sure we've captured all the systems feeding all the GIS data. Nothing elaborate, just a base prototype, and the science team will be responsible for that.
So what's next?
Once we're all clear on the requirements, we'll begin to clearly define scope boundaries, compile inclusions and exclusions, compile assumptions and constraints.
And I guess you'll be conducting another facilitated workshop to define scope?
Correct. Good. All this will be documented in our project scope statement, after which we'll tweak our existing organizational assets in the form of WBS templates.
So what level are we going to get to this time? Last time we were at a 3. but we have these new contracts, so I'm thinking it's going to be a little
Yeah,
higher.
you guessed right. We're required by the customer to get down to a level 5. Yeah, billions of dollars worth of project is a lot of money to track. The WBS detail will help us get down to the task level with ease. We have previous activity lists to guide us, and we develop the schedule and identify all possible risks and the cost of quality.
So once we're done estimating the costs and determining the time phase budget, we're good to go.
Almost. At that point, we compile our subsidiary plans into the master binder to form the final project management plan. And we go through various iterations of development of the final plan. I must ensure that the project management plan is as complete and comprehensive as can be, and ensure the project management plan contains all needed documentation to proceed with project execution. You know, it's not as easy as it sounds. So get prepared to roll up your sleeves and do some mega work.
Okay, let's get started.
The next stage was inevitably to work on the much talked about WBS, Project Schedule and Cost Baseline. Cold Pincus unceremoniously declared that I had the responsibility of working on the schedule. In other words, it is now my duty to lead the development of a work breakdown structure, resource list, associated project costs, and a monster schedule while working with several other project team members who are already over-allocated in other projects without any sign of availability. I sent out invites for several meetings for the next few days and spent the rest of the afternoon researching the project and collaborating with all the subcontractors and vendors we would likely use on the project. It was a nice change, seeing them in the physical, as opposed to just a hologram. It's amazing how the traditional way of communicating has made it so far in this day and age. Okay, everyone. You know, our friends over at TTR were just as anxious to nail this one as we were. But since we came out the winners, everyone's eyes will be on our performance. Now, the boys over at Time Travel Research know key stakeholders on the government side with a high level of influence and power. So we need to put together a cost and schedule baseline that is tight and realistic with a doable milestone schedule. We also have to draw on all of our resources to make this as flawless as possible.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. Back when I was in the Corps, I was flying TLP-16s before most of these kids over at TTR were even out of grade school. I got dozens of resources lined up, and I got dozens of people with real-world experience ready to vet our system prototypes. Don't forget that I got 10 years experience in geographic teleportation systems, so this kind of stuff is right down my alley.
Whoa, H-Man, slow down. I can appreciate your gung-ho attitude, but you are jumping the gun a little bit, you know? And I do respect all your experience, and it's great that you can get all these guys to come on board with us, but it's not gonna matter unless I can get what I need to be able to pull together the programming and the software interface together for this unheard of contraption.
Not to mention what it's going to take to keep my component vendors happy and my programmers on schedule.
You are exactly right, Julia. That's why this is called a project planning meeting. Now, my job is not only to see what all of your resources are, but to see what each of you need to really bring those resources to the table. I need to see each of your cost estimates, your risk factors, and potential overruns so that I can make sure that we all agree on baseline budgets. I also have to look at your core competencies and see where there could be overlap and redundancies. We need to make sure that everything remains on schedule and nothing slips through the cracks.
It sure sounds like you know a lot about logistics and coordination, Mary. We sure could have used someone like you back in the GTS project, huh?
The first team meeting regarding the WBS finally began in earnest with lots of wonderful ideas within the first 2 hours. The team member representing purchasing arrived late to the meeting and proceeded to recommend some changes that would have set us back by another week. Needless to say, we didn't accept his recommendations and moved on to the next item on the agenda. That was to sketch out activity and resource lists to be further developed. After that, we worked more on the project plan, and the team members were given assignments to be completed by the next meeting. Everyone on the team worked every single day for a month. In the second meeting, we realized that half of the resources we need on this project are actively engaged in several other projects, and that they won't be complete until midway into this project schedule. With such competition for resources, we were forced to accept several relatively inexperienced people to lead several tasks. Very few functional managers agreed to release any already engaged resources for this assignment. Because this is a cost-plus fixed-fee contract, we had to inform Cold Pincus and Johnny about the implication of replacing several professional resources with others who had half the experience. Within a few days, Johnny and Cold Pincus had persuaded the functional managers to release 5 stronger team members to work on our project. Apparently, they were working on tasks demanding intermediate skills and could be replaced. You call this a budget? It has more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
Gee, that reminds me, it's time for lunch.
Sit down, mister. Nobody leaves this room until we get some more realistic estimates, especially you, Mike. Now, it looks like most of you use some combination of analogous estimates and based on past projects and some parametric estimations. This is good. But Mike, what did you do? Pick some number out of thin air and add a 20% fudge factor and say, oh, this is good?
Not good?
No! God, look, people. This project, just like every project, is going to need funding estimates over specific time periods. How well we estimate these funds, where we allocate them, is going to mean the difference between success and failure. Now, I know that with this kind of project scope that we have laid out for the TMX project, we really can't tell what the absolute cost will be until the last turn of the screw. Sure, we may not be able to predict the future spot on, but we can come up with some better estimates than what you have here. Henry, tell me what you think makes a good estimate.
Well, like I tell my guys, a good estimate is clearly defined by our goals. But I also want to know what assumptions they made when coming up with it, plus how long it's going to be good for. We can't afford to have anything held back on this project. No surprises.
Good. Now, Julia, is there anything else we can tell Mike?
Well, we need to be on the same page with our acceptable range of variance. But if we want to create a definitive budget, then we need to break down the deliverables that we supply to our customer, Mr. Doe.
A work breakdown structure. Excellent, Julia.
I see. With a WBS, we can account the cost for each deliverable. By deconstructing the project like that, I can figure in the cost of everything my team needs to make each deliverable. Not only the cost of the materials, but the labor, outside consultants, whatever.
Now you've got it. And speaking of deliverables, I think our lunch has arrived.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Let me first just say how proud I am of everyone that we have come this far together. We've been working as a team, meeting our deliverables, communicating properly, staying within our range of variances. I can see that I picked all the right people for this team. Now, we're entering one of the most critical phases of the project. Now, some of you worked with Jim on the VX project, and you remember what happened there? Wasn't pretty.
You're telling me. Man, I'm lucky I still have a job after that one.
Oh, but it wasn't your fault, Henry. He never called you and the rest of the team in on risk assessment. Heck, I don't think that he even did an official risk assessment plan. Just got a few what ifs from the lead engineer. You know, maybe if he had, things would have worked out differently. But in any case, I am determined not to let that happen here. So, let's see what each of you have.
Well, I see that our biggest problem now that we've moved into the prototype phase and we've added specs to the TMX is that the glass encasement for the HUD, it's gonna have to be like the single biggest piece of polycarbonate ever delivered. And no one has ever done that before.
Wow. Well, where are we getting it from? Who's the vendor?
Flightwing.
Flightwing? But aren't they the same ones that failed to deliver the thermal imager on the last Project VX on time and wound up getting fired? You want to talk about risk?
Yes, they are, but from what I'm reading here, they are also the ones who could possibly deliver what we need. So here's what we're going to do this time to protect our assets. We are going to transfer the risk to them. If they want this work, and I'm sure that they do, they are going to have to deliver on time or pay the price. They're going to own this risk. I'm going to insist on a guarantee in the way of a performance bond.
Okay, Mary, I get it. They have a great incentive now to deliver and deliver on time. But Jake just said that no one, not even Flightwing, has ever built a canopy that big before. What if they can't deliver?
Well, we document that as an accepted risk. Jake, Henry, I want you to come up with some worst case scenario alternatives for this one. I don't know, Bill. Did we make the right choice? I mean, a time machine? Yes, of course the potential return on investment is going to be huge, but a time machine? Is such a thing even possible?
Well, that's why Pincus called this meeting in R&D, so we could hear what the engineers and the science geeks have to say. And from the buzz I've heard so far, this guy Zakari is a crazy old bird, just like his sidekick, Salvador Doe. But he is a genius.
Well, you know what I can't wrap my head around, Bill? If we are successful and we build this darn thing, wouldn't that mean that people from the future could already be visiting us back here?
What makes you think they aren't?
Nice of you to join us.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pincus. It won't happen again.
Okay, Professor, now that everyone's present, if you would.
Believe it or not, there really is no law of physics that prohibits time travel. Isaac Newton thought that time was like an arrow. You shot it, it went straight, never deviating from its path, rendering time travel impossible. Then Einstein came along and turned the Newtonian way of things on its end and declared that time is like a river meandering its way through the universe. And so, if we accept the idea of time as a river, that river of time then can have eddies and whirlpools. It can bend and fork.
Are we talking about the next river rafting trip for the company or building a time machine?
It's a stretch.
If the universe is round and you can travel around the outside of it, you could come back before you left.
But I thought that Einstein said the universe is expanding, not rotating.
Very good, Mary. It's so nice to see that someone on this project has done her homework. You are quite correct. However, since Einstein said that the universe does not rotate, we have found many examples in which time travel would not conflict with Einstein's equations of an expanding universe. Wormholes, for example. Yes.
Wormholes?
Tear a piece of paper from your pad there, if you will, for me, Johnny, please, and hand it to me. Wormholes. If we can fold space and make two very distant points in space and time meet just like that, huh? Well, the only problem with this is that according to Einstein's theories, such shortcuts in space require enormous amounts of energy, like that put out by exploding or collapsing stars. Energy far beyond our capacity to harness or create here on Earth.
Until now, that is. Professor Zakari is absolutely right. We've known for a long time that wormholes exist. We've known also for a long time that they are the direct path to creating a time machine. But a wormhole time machine presents many practical problems, not the least of which are the energy requirements the good doctor was just speaking about. Are these insurmountable problems? Probably not. But can they be solved within the delivery schedule of this project? Definitely not. Which got us thinking in a different direction. Light. Intense gravity like that created around a wormhole is not the only thing that can bend time and space. Light can as well.
I'm no physicist, Rick, but I think I know where you're going with this. According to Einstein, time slows down as you approach the speed of light. But if you thought using wormholes for time travel was difficult, faster than light travel is even more impossible. I've had the boys in Aerospace Division working on that for years now, and they haven't even come close.
But we're not talking about moving faster than the speed of light. In fact, quite the opposite. We can actually slow down light to almost a complete standstill. If you take a series of mirrors spinning in a precise pattern, reflecting slow light at a specific point in space, we can create a vortex that should open a door in time.
Slow light? I don't understand, Rick. It just doesn't make sense.
You don't have to understand it. Just give my team and I the green light, find our funding, and we'll have proof of concept within 10 weeks.
Hi, Jake. What's that you're working on?
An alternate audio system for the TMX.
Audio for a time travel system? But that wasn't in the specs for the TMX.
I know, and neither was this infrared goggle interface helmet. It's so cool. You know, landing 100 years ago in the dark, you're gonna wanna know where you are. I bet on it, Zakari's gonna eat this up.
Maybe you will and maybe you won't, but I can tell you it won't make Mary happy.
What won't make Mary happy?
Oh, she doesn't think you're gonna like these new designs for the FMS.
Oh, hey, that nav system is intriguing. And I just love what you did with the display processor and how the readout is bigger and so much easier to use. And your use of glass phosphordiodes instead of LEDs is brilliant. Too bad it won't be part of the project.
What? No, you just said it was brilliant.
Well, it is, but it's gold plating. It's not part of the specs for the original project. Not only did Doe not ask for it, but it would put us over budget and behind schedule. So please, just scrub it. Get back to working on the FMS that's in the specs.
I told you.
Well, sure, Professor, I can take a look at it. Yeah, just send the picture on over. Since it's an interior, it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, but first, before I do anything, I need you to send me a change order in writing on a change request form. Yes, I'll have to take it over to the Change Control Board for review along with an impact analysis. Okay, thank you. This is Mary. Professor! Yes, good news, Professor, good news. Yes, I just heard back from the CCB, and I was right, they approved the changes. And because they're cosmetic, there shouldn't be any impact on cost or delivery. This time, right. But why somebody would want such bright colored leather seats in a time machine is beyond me. Well, you're welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
Nice shot, man. Nice shot. Oh. What are you doing this weekend, man? I tell you what, the loser has to throw a barbecue at their spot this weekend.
Not at my place.
Why not?
The deck's not done yet.
The deck's not done. Why not, man? That was supposed to be done weeks ago.
I know. First, his guys get sick. Then the redwood he wanted, out of stock. Then it rains for like 3 days. And then backhoe breaks down.
Yeah, sounds like your contractor needs to learn some lessons in time management from Mary.
Yeah, I can hear her now. I don't want to hear tomorrow. I want realistic time estimates. On this project, we're going to clearly define who does what and when.
And I want to see team activities listed with milestones.
And we're going to define the resources needed for the task and the quantity of resources needed.
Oh, and let's not forget to set realistic start and finish dates for each scheduled activity.
And always plan for the unexpected.
And we're going to make sure that we control the schedule to
And prevent unauthorized changes to project activities.
Yeah.
All right,
Noah, you got
let's
her,
go.
man. Yep. You. All right, here we go, man. Serving it up. Loser. Oh.
Yeah! Undefeated.
H, man.
Okay, Jake, I see you've refocused, and now your deliverable only gives Zakari what he is looking for. I'm sorry, I know that disappoints you.
Cheer up, Jake. Maybe we can get the audio system with a laser-guided espresso machine into version 2.0.
Oh, seriously, Jake, you did a good job. Too good, in fact. Now we have to pick one look for the instrumentation and one way to meet each feature set called for in the time management system. Any ideas on how we do that?
Dough.
Ask the client? Are you serious, Henry? That will make us look like a bunch of idiots.
No, not Doe as in Zakari's sidekick. DOE, Design of Experiments. Whenever we had to plan for an op back in the service, we would use DOE to identify the variables and the potential impact. That way, we could optimize our strategies while running the fewest amount of scenarios necessary to accomplish our mission objectives. Well, it seems like we got the same thing going on here, right? We take a close look at each one of Jake's designs, evaluate the variables and the potential impact on the quality specs set forth by the customer requirements, and then assign a value to each of those variables.
Makes sense.
Well, then I can determine the type of tests we need and minimize the number of experiments and reduce the cost of testing to pick up the right design.
That's right.
Brilliant, Henry.
That's good.
Not bad.
Good job.
Oh, Fred, hey, come on in, man. So how's those chipsets coming along?
They're coming along. I still need to tweak the phase arrays a little bit, and you know how tough the calibrations can be. Hard to say when we'll get there. And that's the problem. That PM, Mary, she's been all over me, keeps asking the same question.
Well, have you been feeding her your daily logs?
Well, no. You know how hard this work is, right? Till we hit the right mark, every day is pretty much the same as the day before.
Yeah. But Fred, we know how talented you and your team are. And we know how critical your work is to this project. And Mary knows that, and that's why she handpicked you for this team. You know, as her job, as PM, it's her responsibility to know that each one of her team members are firing at their full potential. And if they're not, you know, maybe there's something she can do to help. She can't do her job in the dark. So I'm gonna need you to turn in some daily logs. I'm gonna need you to turn in some daily progress reports with a detailed workflow for each of your staff. And I want you to CC Mary on all of that, okay?
Oh,
Jake.
Mary, what is the rush?
Jake, I've got to tell you, when you were right, you're right.
What are you talking about?
This change order request I got from Doe and Zakari. They want the TMX to interface with a high-tech goggle helmet. I don't know, they must have heard the competitors were working with something similar.
I told you.
Yes, you did. And I told you then that it was just gold plating. It wasn't part of the specs, and therefore it wasn't part of the scope. But now I've got to get this change request over to CCB and run it through personally if we're going to give Zakari what he wants and stay anywhere close to the deliverable schedule and keep up with the momentum.
Whew, yes. Way to go, Jake, man. Awesome. Oh, hey, how did the CCB go?
Great. Thanks to the detailed analytics I submitted and the change request and my recommendations, they were able to see that we could implement without putting us too far behind. And with all that extra groundwork that you had already laid on the system, they were seeing that we weren't starting from scratch. So the board was thrilled that we could request an increase in allocation from Zakari without a significant increase in timeline. So they approved the change.
Oh, congratulations. That's a win for you. I guess timing is everything.
And teamwork. Quite a laundry list you have here, Jake. But your assessments of what your team can do in-house and what we have to subcontract for looks good. I'm just a little bit concerned with your choice of data light as the single source for the diode arrays.
I know they don't have the best rep, but they did give me competitive prices and a very good timeline. Besides, my cousin works there in the optics department, so I think we'll be square. But if you're not okay with that, why don't you just draw up a team agreement and I can get that out to him?
That's good. But I'm sorry, Jake, that's just not good enough. You want your cousin's company to get my business, and you say they can deliver. But we do it by the book. I'll have a statement of work and a request for bid on your desk for you to send to them by EOB today. They return the bid to me, I run it past the board. If they're happy, I'll set them up with a fixed fee subcontract with us as the primary. I'm just not comfortable cutting a purchase order out of your budget for such an important part when it's a company with a risky track record. You okay with that?
I just think it seems like a lot of overkill. But you're the boss.
No, I'm not the boss. I'm the PM, and I'm just doing my job.
Did you get it? Yeah.
I'd like to congratulate the team on our great success.
Yes, thank you.
As discussed in our last meeting, VAC was $2.5 million. Amazing job, Mary.
Nice, Mary.
For a project this size, $2.5 million over budget is like nothing.
No more Swiss cheese.
We cut costs and mitigated risks in many ways. Zakari and Pincus are chirpy, happy folk, and all requirements were met. The logic in the newly built system is pure futuristic genius, and I got to thank Pete for that. It was impossible for us to fail.
Yes, sir. Indeed, our goals were clearly defined. And there was a bond of trust and cooperation on many levels. And our cost, risk, schedule, and scope management were spot on. We also got all the support that we needed from the management team, and our post-mortem analysis from our vendors was very positive.
Better than the mishap in the lab? Or when Zakari, he went off on Pincus?
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's enough. That's enough, ladies and gents. Okay, the technical team, they did have a few minor disagreements, but the overall result was working, functional software, despite the delays in the weather. Oh, Bill, our program manager, he underestimated the weather just a little bit, but it all turned out just fine after we attended the engineering summit by Zakari's group, and midway through, the program management boot camp by Praizion Media.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Praizion was good.
I agree. I can't fault the team on this outcome. We all did what we could to achieve success. Mary, your performance on this project was impeccable. Well done. This calls for a celebration, and from what I gather, Pincus is giving everyone on the team a substantial bonus.
Woo! Yeah! All right, give it up, give it up! Give it up! Oh, yeah! So
Take that, Oprah. Take that.